Solve the system by substitution. Okay, so these level 2 type of problems are still the same as the first one. Our goal is to identify a variable that's been isolated. So let's start off right here. I have x isolated right there. Actually, I want to start with yellow. We have x isolated there. And so if I have x isolated, I can go ahead and get rid of this x, and I can substitute the 2y in there because the first equation states, it says right here, it says x equals 2y. And if these are interchangeable, this 2y is going to get dropped into that equation where the x is right there. Now you'll find out why these are level 2 because we're going to have to distribute. We've got -9 parentheses. Now in for x, since these x's are being replaced with 2y, make sure you leave enough room to put 2y inside the parentheses, plus 4y is equal to 28. You'll have to distribute the -9 through the parentheses. That's going to give us -18y plus 4y is equal to 28. Then after we distribute, and you'll find a lot of the steps are quite repetitive with these, is that we're going to combine like terms. So -18y and 4y, those will combine to give us -14y is equal to 28. And then to get rid of this -14 that's in front of the y, because remember it's -14 times y, you'll divide by -14 on both sides of the equation. -14 divided by -14 is +1. 1 times y will simplify to y. And then 28 divided by -14 is -2. Now that we found out that y is equal to -2, I'm just going to switch over to red. And what I'd like to do is I would like to substitute -2 for y. So grabbing my other highlighter, it looks to me like y is right there, so I can plug in y right here or here, so I can do the top equation or the bottom equation. But I hope you realize that the top equation we start with is usually the simplified version. So I'm just going to go back to kind of where I started, which just saves you some time. So this -2 is going to be substituted right there, because after all, that's a y, right? And then we're just going to go ahead and move this equation over here to the side, and we'll put x is equal to 2 multiplied by, okay, now -2 has to go in there where the y used to be. And then it's just 2 distributed to -2, so I've got x is equal to -4. Now that we have a value for x and for y, we'll write it as an ordered pair. Again, x comes first alphabetically, so I'm going to put -4, comma, -2. And we'll box that, and that's the solution to the first one. Now the first one, the only new step is really you're going to have to distribute this term, then combine, and then divide. I'm going to give you one that's a little bit harder at first glance. The second one that I'm going to do, it says solve the system by substitution. And then notice in the second equation, we actually have x isolated and we have y isolated. And I think I can best show you this by just duplicating the equations. So we have a couple options here. Let's grab the highlighter and let's go ahead and assume that this is our isolated variable. So now I can put a y over here, or I can say y is my isolated value, and then I can go ahead and put x in for y there. So I'll just do it both ways just to show you. So if x is my isolated value, this y value is going to be substituted right here. So then the equation would look like this. It would be 7. Keep in mind we're getting rid of x, and I'm going to put y there, plus 5y equals 36. That's one option. And we know that this is correct because all we have are y terms. Or over here, since y is isolated, I'm going to take this x value and I'll substitute it over here for y. And then if I wrote that, it would be 7x plus 5, again, get rid of y, and we're going to put x there instead, is equal to 36. And notice that 7y plus 5y equals 36 looks a lot like this. The only difference is I've got y's on this one and x's on this one. So either way you set it up, as long as you're consistent, you're fine. I'm going to use the one here to the left. So I'll distribute, just like I did in the last example. After we substituted, we distribute and then combine like terms. So 7 times y is 7y plus 5y equals 36. I'll combine like terms, so this is going to result in 12y equals 36. And then I'll divide by 12 on each side. And let's see, these cancel. Again, that's 1. 1 times y would simplify to just y. And then 36 divided by 12 is 3. So now at this point, I have, let me switch over to blue. That's a color I haven't used. So I've got a y value here, so I can plug it in for y here or in for here. Although this bottom one is a lot easier. And sometimes because it's so easy, this kind of confuses people. All right, let's switch over to blue and let's wrap this one up. So I'm going to take that, since y is equal to 3, I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to substitute it right here. And then I'm just going to rewrite the equation over here. And it's actually quite simple. X equals 3. Okay, so now we have ordered pair. So my x value is 3 and my y value is 3, but that's not a surprise because over here it said x and y have to be the same. And there you have it. So hopefully that gives you a quick review. Again, if this kind of confused you, I'd suggest stop, maybe replay the video and watch it again.